Hi, it's me again. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday. So I was having my hair done yesterday, and it was a beautiful day. It was rather hot outside. I think the temperatures were almost 100 degrees, and I was having my hair done. And as I was sitting there, my mood was, I was very calm, I was very mellow. Nothing in particular was going on. And suddenly, some music came on the radio, and I was listening to the music, and for some reason, the music wasn't even in English. It was music from another country, but I think it was something about the beat that of the music that kind of made me start feeling a little bit depressed, you know. And it kept going on and on and on. And as I kept listening to the music playing, I started feeling or having these thoughts that really should not have been on my mind. I started feeling a little bit depressed. It's almost like there was this movie going on in my head, and I was thinking about my failures as a person. You know, those thoughts where I'm like, oh my God, I am almost, this age, and I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I haven't achieved this. I just started having this kind of these thoughts that are rather depressing. Like I wasn't happy about my life. I wasn't happy about what I'm doing. General feelings of overall dissatisfaction about the status quo right now, and just feeling totally helpless about things. You know what? I was really going downhill fast. And I wanted to stop myself. I noticed this and I really wanted to stop myself. But for some weird reason, I just couldn't stop myself. I was like, Caroline, you need to stop these thoughts. You need to change your thoughts. Where your thoughts are, there goes the energy. What you focus on expands. So, in my head and in my mind, I know this to be true. I know to notice the thought and just shove it aside and replace it with something that makes more sense. But for some reason, I just wasn't really able to bring myself to that point. And I stopped to think about why these thoughts were coming into my life at this particular moment, because I am the kind of person that believes that there really is no accident that happens, and that everything in life is there to teach you a lesson about yourself and about your circumstances. So I was thinking, well, I was fine a few minutes ago, and now there has been a new introduction to my life, and that is there's a movie theater going on in my head, and that movie theater is having a show that is taking me down and taking me down real fast. This forced me to ask myself, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I feeling dissatisfied about my life? Why is there a replay of all the negative things that have ever happened to me? Why am I feeling like a loser right now? Why am I feeling like a failure? This is not who I am. This is not how I'm supposed to be feeling. But these thoughts remind me of the person that I've worked so hard to overcome, or the habits that I've worked so hard to overcome. And now all these thoughts are flooding into my life and forcing me to come face to face with things that I thought that I've worked on. But on the other hand, I thought of this as an opportunity to look inward and find the answers to why these thoughts were coming back in my life. So my thing today really is to ask a question. What do you do when you have thoughts like these? Do you ignore them? Do you just, well, I was thinking about this a few minutes ago, but I'm not going to let myself carry on in that path? Or do you kind of process them again and deal with them if they have to be dealt with? Or ask yourself, why am I having these thoughts in my life? What is the trigger? Why would these thoughts reoccur in my life? What is the message behind these thoughts? And then process them, and then deal with them if need be, or then just put them at the side. So yesterday I was forced to kind of, deal with my depressing self and just lay back and just ask myself why I was having these questions. And then I realized that I was really having these questions because there was a part of myself that needed to fight for who I was. In the sense that sometimes when things happen to you, the lesson comes back again, or an issue reoccurs again to see whether you're going to take the high road or whether you're going to sink. So for me, because this was something that I've always tried to overcome, the thoughts that I have about myself and about, my life. I've always tried to work on those thoughts that to make me understand that I am fine the way I am, my life is fine the way it is, my purpose is fine the way it is, and I don't have to put on a face or be anything different, but be me. So the fact that those kinds of thoughts that were coming through my head at a time when I did not expect, it forced me to deal with it again and rise above them and conquer them. And you know what? Last night, I spent a small part of the night, thinking about these thoughts, acknowledging them, and then thinking about who I have become and who I want to be and where I am going. And I said goodbye to those thoughts. I'm sure they're going to come back and rear the sneaky heads back into my life at some point, but I know that to recognize them, notice them without any judgment, acknowledge them, and look at myself and see where I'm headed, and just be thankful for it and keep it moving. And that's how I managed to eliminate the thoughts that I had that were bringing me down and replace them with thoughts of who I am in this moment, where I'm going in this moment. And I was really thankful that I had overcome and I was moving ahead. So I encourage you, anytime you have negative thoughts, instead of, if it's possible for you to just be on autopilot and just say no to those thoughts and, and get on with your life, which sometimes happens. Sometimes you see that you recognize the thought and you say no and move on. But sometimes it lingers on, which to me is a message that there's something that needs to be processed. There's a message that has to be acknowledged, and something that has to be worked on. So sometimes if you just listen to the message and ask yourself why you're feeling that way and deal with it again if need be, then you're ready to move on. So my message to you today is, negative thoughts are going to come, negative circumstances are going to come, but remember who you are. You are strong. You are able. You can move on. You can overcome. Don't be bound by things that happened in the past. Remember who you are in this present moment, in this very moment, is what's determining the next step forward. Life is good, always.